Welcome to the Group Home Riches Podcast. If you have the desire to be your own boss, create your own schedule, and become financially free while at the same time helping people in need, then you've come to the right place. At grouphomeriches.com, we teach people exactly like yourself how to get started in the group home business. And on this podcast, you're going to hear their stories firsthand.
Hi, guys.
There he is.
Yo, dude. Jose, what's up, man?
I'm sorry. I was trying to figure this thing out. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I was chatting with Brandon earlier, and I said, hey, we were on the telephone. I said, hey, hang on real quick. My one of my guys, I've got obviously all these contractors that kind of work for me or whatever. And I told him yesterday, you guys will love this story. I told him yesterday, I said, hey, dude, I just got a call from the Section 8 office. You know, and I've been on vacation the last couple of weeks, so I haven't really been checking my my deposits and my rents. And this guy calls me from the Section 8 office. This is obviously a non-group home, and he's like, "Yeah, you know, this one lady that was over at one of your properties, we show her signed up for for public housing, so we didn't pay you." And I'm like, "Oh fuck, excuse my language." And anyway, so we're doing a Section 8 repair on this other property right down the road. So I told my guy, I said, go over and try to break in. And because obviously these people always change the locks. It's a nightmare. Yeah. So naturally there's the phone ringing again. But anyways, so he called me when I was on the other line with Brandon. I said, hey, Brandon, hang on a sec. And he goes, yeah, I just got into the property. And he goes, it's absolutely trashed beyond belief. He goes, there's holes in the ceiling. There's holes in the walls. He goes, there's furniture all over the place. There's a poop in the toilet. Like, there's no utilities on. I mean, the entire place is trashed. Mind you, this lady moved into the property, dude, probably 8 or 9 months ago. So I won't even get a full year's lease out of her.
Wow.
Yeah. So I guess the moral of the story is I never even hear about this stuff with these group homes. Like I never even, because my guys handle everything. So
why don't we dive into that? So what are the differences and advantages for the folks that don't know compared to your traditional rental, which Andy just went over, a nightmare story that pretty much every landlord has. How do you avoid that with a group home when rather than just have one qualified tenant in a home? Obviously, you did your pre-qualifications and everything, Andy.
Yeah.
Now.
And there are pros and cons to both of them. So I think what happened on this one was I was fairly busy, and I just told one of my leasing guys, I said, just get the damn thing leased up. And I think what happened is, since we're pretty well tied in with a lot of these, care provider organizations, nonprofits, so on and so forth, on the group home side, they also will send us people that are individuals, but maybe they have kids or whatever. And they'll, because we kind of know how to play the game, they can come in with like big deposits, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. And that will 9 times out of 10, even if they do destroy the property, like we're going to be able to make money out of the deal. So I think I was busy. I told Hal, one of my leasing guys, I said, just get the thing leased up, call this caseworker. They have somebody that needs to move in there, and we let them move in. The deal is that they were on Section 8. They moved into the property. Well, there's a new Section 8 inspection manager. And what he's doing is, rather than inspecting these units like on the 11th month, he's starting to check on like the 7th and the 8th month. So I think they started checking like 7 or 8 months after she had moved in. Otherwise, at least I would have gotten a full year rent out of it. So, but yeah, so now I'll be, I'll only get 7 or 8 months rent out of it. And, obviously I got a decent sized deposit, but it kind of doesn't matter. So, I'll probably lose when it's all said and done. Now, the flip side of the coin is, had I run that property as a group home, I really wouldn't be dealing with any of those issues. I'd have my main manager that oversees everything. He'd install a house manager over there. And, we go in and we put in the beds and everything else and just start renting it. And don't get me wrong, there's still going to be issues, but he's going to have to deal with those issues on a day-to-day basis.
All right.
And that's kind of how it works. The other thing is, since you have a house manager that's on site every day those house managers are monitoring all the people. So if anybody starts to slip, like this lady Leslie that was obviously living at this property, I don't know, she probably started slipping 3, 4, 5 months ago. But I didn't know anything about that because I'm still collecting the check every single month. So, but I had no way of getting in there and saying, "Hey, Leslie, I noticed you're drinking," or whatever the heck she was doing, and putting a stop to it. Versus when you have your care home managers or whatever in the properties, they, with a snap of a finger, they can quash it real fast. So those are kind of the pros and cons, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at with your traditional rental. You don't babysit the people. You don't see the apartment unless there's an issue.
Correct.
So they could go like 3 or 4 months of tearing it up. They're not going to fall behind on rent until then, and then you still aren't going to get in there for another like 2 months if you have to go through the eviction process.
Right. Absolutely. And as much as everybody says, well, you got to inspect these units once a month or once a quarter, dude, that's what the syndicators lie about. That's what these big apartment operators, they're not doing that. And neither are the managers.
Impossible, especially if it's like a multifamily.
Yeah. If it's a big remember also when you're dealing with like middle income, lower income, whatever it is, these people are changing the locks on the management. So management might have like a master key or whatever it is. Dude, the locks have already been changed. So, I mean, you have to be very realistic about this stuff. But when you're running care homes, group homes, halfway homes, whatever you want to call them, you're running an operating business. So that's the real benefit.
That was a great story that I think kind of highlights the differences between your typical rental property and the group homes, at least one aspect of it. And that'll kind of segue into part 2 with Jose. So, if for our listeners out there, our first episode was with Andy, who's the founder of Group Home Riches, and Jose was actually our first actual member that we interviewed on the podcast. And if you go back and listen, which I suggest you do if you haven't heard it, it's an awesome podcast. Jose was kind of transitioning from you had like 1 or 2 rental properties, right, Jose?
I was I got the golf course, and within a few months, I think it was June of 2018, and then I got my first one in at the end of August or October, something like that, 2018. And then but 2. Right where we were talking about this, I had bought 2 more. So we were at 3. One that was already rented, and another one that needed a lot of work, which finally we finished. And so basically it was listening to your videos, watching the videos, and I'll actually reading your emails. I get a lot of like power up from those emails. Plus they're funny, so I enjoy you guys' emails, and
we try to motivate periodically. You gotta have that motivation.
Motivate, a little bit of humor, and a lot of education. I think.
Yes, so you're doing great at entertaining and educating, and I love it. And one of the, I don't know if it was you or who out of the two, but both of you are doing great and basically taking massive action. But bottom line is, like, you got to take action, not just read. And so that's the thing. Just spend a little bit of time every day in the business and on the business sometimes. And so this year I'm really excited because at the end of the year I was like, okay, everybody's relaxing, enjoying, thinking about Christmas and the end of the year and slowing down. I'm like, I'm gonna speed it up and do more. And how can I do more? And so we found this house. It's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath that doesn't need any work, and we bought that one to traditional financing. I asked the seller to pay for the closing costs, so we actually out of pocket we bought it with $1,100. That was
That is awesome.
1,100. Yeah, thank God. And then so that doesn't require anything. It's just ready to rock and roll.
But by the way, those are my favorite because you don't have to. Maybe you don't add as much value to them from an equity standpoint, but like they don't cost you any time.
Yeah, and it's so valuable. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying this one so much.
So Jose, talk to us about that one. How many beds will you throw in there?
And that one, there's got two bedrooms downstairs, and the upstairs is one of those. What do you call it? It's like elongated. Probably do 2 or 3 beds upstairs. So it's probably going to be 2, 4, 7, 6 or 7 beds on that one.
Nice. Is that your 4th home now, Jose?
Well, what I did is I sold one to buy 2. So I sold one and bought 2. Okay. So I sold the one where I inherited tenants, and it was in a really bad area, and I just didn't feel safe there. I had to carry a weapon there every time I went there, and so I don't like carrying a weapon. I'm kind of I was in the military, but I don't like carrying weapons for some reason.
Yeah, if you can avoid it, why not?
Yeah, so I bought this one. It's very close to the University of Dayton, so it's in a prime location. And then the 5-unit building is also like 3-4 minutes from the University of Dayton. It's very well located, and it requires some work. It's going to require some work on that 5-unit, as I'm going to have to clean it. A little bit of plumbing, not a lot. Electrical is working. The gas is, the furnace, everything's good. After that, probably painting and flooring. So those are, but it's probably going to be like a at least 30 to 60 day project.
So you kind of glossed over that. You mentioned you bought a 3-bedroom at the end of the year, and and also on top of that, you just picked up a 5-unit, basically multi.
Right, and because of the deferred maintenance, I got it actually for $2,000 more than the single family. The only difference is that the 5-unit is going to have 9 bedrooms times 2. That will be 18 beds. Plus, it's got what it used to be a salon, about 1,200 square feet, on the bottom floor, and then another office that used to be an insurance office. So, yeah, I'm excited about that one because I think that one is gonna be a monster cash flow machine, I think.
Oh yeah, you're gonna. So Jose, and I had to step out because I had to make an HVAC purchase, and maybe I missed this. But how many beds will you be up to?
I'm thinking 30, 32.
That is wonderful. And what are you charging up in Ohio? How much are you charging per month?
I've been kind of nice, $385, $400 per.
Still though, I mean, you're bringing. I mean, it starts bringing in some decent revenue.
How much is 40 times 30? 12,000?
Yeah, about 12 G's or so. Yeah.
I just want to take a step back and commend you for that, Jose, because it probably feels like a grind. You're doing a lot of work, but it's a relatively short time. I feel like you purchased the gold course, you said, around August. But I don't really remember you kind of reaching out and like really making moves until it seemed like it was right around kind of the beginning of last year, right?
Right. That's when I had some tenants in the first property. I'm like, I need to get to the next step.
Kind of transitioning from seemed like you were kind of the typical stressed out landlord, not doing a lot of work, not really cash flowing much, which is kind of a typical story. Which is why when I'm looking for deals, that's kind of the people I send mailers to. But that's a whole other story. but I'm in a matter of about a year. I mean, that's crazy. The last
it's really incredible because Jose, do some quick math. If you just do that 3 more times, you've got a 100-bed empire.
Well, the last time I talked, I remember you had a really great, simple but great motto. It was like, how can I all right, I'm doing this. How can I do 2 times?
How can I double it? How can I double it? That's my question. How can I double it?
We've kind of watched you do that now. So you started, and then within about 6 months, it seemed like on the last podcast, you mentioned you pretty much replaced your full-time job with the part-time income. Even though you quit, I mean, like the income kind of matched your full-time job, correct?
Yeah, this is gonna be like, because I'm pretty fortunate that I've been very good at selling, and so I get a salary plus a commission, and I have a good salary, but now I have to let go at one point. That's why I'm like, don't tell them who I am or where I live, you know. I guess I'm sure this is a small world, but anyways, yeah, we're past. Oh, I think we're gonna be this first quarter. We're gonna be past that. My income from my regular job is gonna be way smaller than my real estate group income.
In the matter of a year, and it was a decent job, I believe. I don't know if you want to mention the industry. It's not like we're a part-time, cashier, No.
It's I mean, it's an average job, but with a commission, it makes it a pretty good job. 70,
which is really incredible. I mean, I think when I first started out, my goal, and it took me forever, man. I mean, I'm telling you, I was 21, and I remember writing on my wall, I will make $4,000 a month, and man, it took me forever. And then finally, I had all these rental properties, and then I started converting them over to group homes. I'm like, dude, why didn't I do this at the very beginning? I mean, it's incredible how much money you can pull out of these things while simultaneously helping a lot of people.
How long did it take you to get there from the point you started the group homes, Andy?
Oh, right away. I don't know. I mean,
probably like your first home, right?
Yeah, I think it was probably the second home, maybe. Yeah, it took a couple of months. It was so easy.
Hey, Andy, I wanted to ask you for a golden nugget there, like something like really that you haven't shared, like something that will take us, not just me, but I'm also thinking the listeners. What is the one group of people that you service in this group home? Because there's so many different niches, but what is the one thing that will say, man, if I do just a couple of these specific group, then I'll be like, it will multiply or allow me to grow exponentially. What is the one thing?
One niche? That's a really good question. In fact, Brandon, I think I responded this morning to somebody, I don't remember who it was, on an email that they sent out. Let me see.
Yep, I remember it.
I sent it out at about 5:30 this morning. I just kind of looked at my phone. Iran, out of, let's see, it was Iran. They got Iran Greenberg. It looks like they've got a 707 area code, so maybe they're in Northern California. But they asked the same question, or Iran asked the same question, and so I go after different niches. We have different niches for different properties. One of the more lucrative ones, we have contracts with the Criminal Justice Planning Department. And that thing, I want to say pays, call it about $40 a day. So it's just about getting in with these people. Now, there's a niche that I've never gone after, which I think would be a wonderful niche to go after. And that's going to be kind of like imagine like the spoiled children whose parents are very wealthy, the affluent, but maybe they've got some sort of substance abuse issue, or maybe their parents just quite frankly don't even want to deal with them. I know people that are charging, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $15,000 a month, and they don't really do it on a per bed basis. They'll more do it on a per room basis. But if you can get into that niche, you could clean house. If you're charging $5,000 a month, and you've got a 5-bedroom home, I mean, do the math. You got 25 G's coming in. You have a $1 million home with a $4,000 monthly note, assuming that it's a 4% deal, and you're still clearing $15,000, $16,000, $17,000 because you're not buying food for those people. So that would be like the high-end sober home niche.
Amazing.
Yeah. Now, the key there, and I don't know if we talk about this in the Gold Course or not, but the real marketing key there is reaching out to attorneys. So what you'll see happen, and you got to reach out to high-end attorneys, and that's who you market to, because the high-end attorneys have been put on retainer, or they've been essentially, they've got a contract with these wealthy parents, and the wealthy parents are saying, hey, get my son out of jail. My son just got a DUI, whatever it is. The parents may make $500,000 a year, $1 million a year, whatever it is. And they've hired a Mark Garagos type attorney, high profile attorney in Dallas, Texas, Houston, Cleveland, Ohio, whatever it is, to essentially bail their kids out. And what they'll do is then the attorney is going to reach out to the district attorney or the prosecuting attorney and say, hey, if we put, this kid into like a sober home or whatever it is, will you let him off the hook? And that's how they make their compromise and their settlement agreement. But you, as the group homeowner or the sober homeowner, are the beneficiary, because you're now able to charge $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $15,000 a month. So that would be the niche that I would go after. Again, full disclosure, I haven't done that, but I know people that are doing that, and they're making a lot of money.
Well, you can, to kind of reiterate on that and kind of highlight something. Andy said he does not do that with his homes. And that's why, Jose, you're kind of looking for like the secret. That probably is, the secret. But the thing is, there's going to be a lot more competition there. Those lawyers probably already have people like that. You could go on Craigslist and type in sober living in pretty much any city, and you'll see quite a few sober homes. You'll see a lot of really nice websites of like sober living communities, especially in, I would say, the highest niche. If you're looking for the biggest, highest paying market, move to LA and set up a mansion and and advertise to celebrities.
Yeah, absolutely.
But what Andy does and what we teach in the Gold Course and what you're doing, is that's where the biggest kind of market is and where the biggest demand is.
Right.
Affordable housing, which it might not be like the top, profit margin, but it's the simplest way to get started. And and
there's so much demand. I mean, like, I'm not kidding you guys. I think we've got an ad out for one of the properties. I'll log into my phone right here. And in the last 2 weeks, I've probably got, 200 leads out of it. So, it can get ridiculous. There's just a lot of demand,
I'm just excited, Andy. Thank you so much. I'm really excited about you guys sharing this opportunity to me, because it's changing the life. And even my bank said, hey, do you need money? Like, here's a line of credit for you,
Well, they see you bringing in that money. I mean, when you start bringing in $12,000, $15,000, $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 a month, man, you got a legitimate business.
And this is one of those things, Jose, if you are really looking to scale, one of the things that's in the Gold Course for kind of higher level folks like yourself, check out the sample business plan. That'll kind of show you.
Yes, I printed that out like a year ago. Thank you, Brandon. Like, you don't know me, man. Like, I know your website like left and right. I saw you made changes. Like, I know not as good as you, but very close. Okay.
Yeah. Imagine if you were to put together a presentation like that. The amount of money that could be offered to you.
Yes, it's just amazing. And then there's also a gentleman who says, like, I got money if you want a partner. So it's opening other doors. That's why I'm like, I want to make sure that we see exponential growth, but not just the numbers, but also going to the highest and best just of our time and their time. But I'm very grateful to both of you. Andy, thank you so much. Thank you. Brandon?
No, we're really excited for you, Jose. I mean, because you can go out there, and we're looking forward to chatting with you here in the next, if we chat with you 12 months from now, you may very easily have 100 beds. And
Yes.
it'll be a lot of work getting them up and going, because 9 times out of 10, when you're doing that, you do need to make intelligent decisions on the properties that you buy. And typically those properties need to be fixed up. At least that's kind of been my philosophy. And we go in there and we put down the hacienda tile. We don't have carpet in any of them, because obviously you got a lot of people living in the properties. And so it just takes a little bit of time to get them up and going. But Jose, man, you could easily have 100 beds, and you got, you're charging $400 a month. You got 40 grand coming in, and you know what the margins are in this business. I mean, they're damn near drug dealer margins. They're big. So
see what I need to do better. What I learned. I'm sorry, guys, but I have to go to work here shortly. So normally I didn't realize that it was 10 a.m. your time, but it's 11 time, and I have to be there at noon. But anyways, so what I learned is that I've been really not just doing the group home business, but I've also been the buy, fix, and rent. So like. The house that I bought, one of the houses that I bought in February or March, it was only $6,000, but it took a lot of my time. And I'm like, I don't want to get into those houses anymore. Even the other day offered me another one for $2,000. I'm like, I don't want it.
Yeah,
I want something that is almost ready, and I'm not much more selective now. And I wanted to have not 2 beds or 3 beds. I wanted to have 10 beds, 12 beds, 18 beds.
So Jose, I know you have to go to work, but you talk about networking opportunities. Maybe Brandon and I can fly you down here, because quite frankly, I would be interested in chatting with you about some stuff up in Ohio that I do. And it would be non-group home related. It's more financing. So basically the evolution that is transition in my world is that the group homes throw off so much cash that you have to go put it somewhere. And so I've kind of transitioned over the last 5, 6, probably since about 2012. So it's been a while, 8 years into financing a lot of stuff. So maybe you and I can have, or me and Brandon can have another offline discussion about that.
Yes, I love to hear you more. I'll send you my work hours. That way, what my off time is for the business, and you can find some time. I'll love to hear more. I'm hungry for growth, and I'm so hungry because not only is it making a difference in my life, but it's making a difference in my son's life, my wife, my mom, who's a widow. And I'm sorry, I'm getting kind of emotional here, but it's making a difference in the people around me, people that I can mentor. So it's making a difference in even the bankers that I deal with, the clients. Is making a difference all around. So it's like, yes, I love to help you grow, because that's going to help me help more people, and that's what it's all about. Money can go on back and forth, but it's making a difference in my son's life. I said, son, if you want to stay there in Arizona, I'll buy you a house. You can make a lot of money out of that house if you want to. It can be yours. You don't ever have to work for somebody else if you don't want to. If you want to, go ahead. He's in computer science, so I said, I know you like that stuff, but you don't have to. You have more options. Never have to work at a McDonald's like I did,
Absolutely. I love hearing these stories.
Yeah, you thank us, but man, we want to thank you, Jose. We always compare our products are kind of like the gym. You can sign up for the membership. A lot of people are just going to go in there, mess around, and think it's too much work and stay fat. But you're like one of our trainees that sculpted himself and is like a full grown bodybuilder. So it's beautiful.
And I think there's way more ahead of me. I see this I told you before, and I'm sorry for some of the guys that are probably never heard me, but or hear this story, or so somebody already knows. But I came here to the United States with no English at all, other than hello or hi or some very basic stuff. And I feel like I'm achieving not only for me but for others. Just the fact that I was able to start a business that is bringing so much more. Completed a college education. I feel like I'm already realized, but I think I also feel that the best years of my life are ahead of me.
Absolutely.
And not just for me, but for the people around us. Like, we can flourish. Like, I'm mentoring somebody right now, and I'm trying to, just like you're pulling me up, I'm pulling others up. And I met a guy the other day. He's it's funny you said 40,000, Andy. His business is bringing 42,000 a month, something similar to what you do, to what we do. But he's specializing, and I'll tell you more offline about that one. But because I don't really know the specifics about his business, I just talked to him by phone, and I know the general idea of what he's doing. But he's making 42,000 out of a single family home per month.
Yeah, I believe it.
Per month, and I'm like, I want to be with you, buddy, because if I do that, then Jose is gonna be bringing a couple of million a year.
Exactly.
There we go.
I did the math. I used the fiveplex can bring 1.9 million if I replicate what he does, and I'm like, I'm excited. Obviously, I'm sure it's not easy because otherwise other people will be doing it. I think used to get that process started is going to be like a 12-month period. I started to do a lot of research already, but I'm super excited about 2020, guys. Super excited.
Yeah, we can't wait to see it, man.
We're going to call it the Roaring 20s. We're going to.
Oh my goodness!
The best thing about it, though, Jose, is that you're generating cash flow, right? This isn't fictitious equity. This isn't, I became a millionaire because my house went from $500,000 to $1 million or whatever it is.
No.
You're generating real spendable cash. Like I try to hit home on this to a lot of these syndicators that I know and everybody else. You can't spend that fictitious equity, and maybe it's real, but it's only real, if you do a non-recourse refinance or if you sell it and you get the cash. But the cash flow that is spendable, the net free cash flow that is spendable, is real cold hard money. You go to Maui with it, you go to Brazil with it, you can eat with it, you can, hang out with your kids with it, you can fly down to Arizona to be with your son. It is real money.
Buy a fiveplex.
Yeah, buy more assets with it, exactly. So we really, really, really love hearing these stories, Jose. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, if there's anything I can help you do, yes, absolutely. I'll be more than happy to take time and bring my wife over. That will make it a vacation.
Absolutely. We really need to talk about, bringing you down here. That would be.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little more offline, Jose. I know we'll let you get going to work, and then very soon for part 3, I bet you won't have to be going to work anymore.
That's right. I'll be sitting with a margarita.
There we go.
Well, let's talk offline about you coming down here to Texas and hanging out with us.
Absolutely. It'll be my pleasure. Just let me know. I'll send you a text or an email with my hours, and then you can just tell me what hour I'll block for you guys.
All right. Awesome. Jose, thank you so much for coming back on and checking in with us. And for everybody.
God bless you guys. I don't know if I told you, but I love you.
Awesome. Well, we love you, Jose. You're the man.
Thank you so much.
All right, Jose.
We'll be in touch.
Okay. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.